Beneil Dariush has nothing to win in this matchup right here. You're supposed to beat Armen Tsarukyan. He knows it himself. If he loses, he's going to get knocked back quite a bit. Look at Tsarukyan's number. It's number 8. Beneil Dariush was the guy. 8-fight win streak. Was supposed to get the title shot. Never got it. Charles Oliveira, you know the story. So let's talk about this matchup right here, man. What do you like about Armen Tsarukyan, who in every aspect, not every aspect, in a lot of aspects is a very similar prototype to a Beneil Dariush? Striking could probably be a little improved, not quite as fundamental in the jiu-jitsu aspect, but a high-pace, high-cardio wrestling machine who will do what it takes to get you down and control you there. That's the name of the game. What do you think about that?
With confidence too, Derek, and a lot of push behind him. You know, he has the momentum of Armen Tsarukyan, or Tsarukyan has the momentum going forward in this fight, and seems like what a lot of buildup is, man. It seems like it's that kind of time for Tsarukyan to really step up, and I think that's why you're saying, man, Tsarukyan has a lot to win. Beneil Dariush doesn't really have anything here for him. The only thing he has is to lose, and even if he wins the fight, yeah, you're supposed to beat Tsarukyan. I want to push back a little bit though, Derek, because especially for a guy like Dariush, who has been going through the struggles, who's been going through the trenches, about to get his shot, and then it gets snatched from you by the previous champ, and being overlooked by a lot of the UFC brass. I feel like Beneil Dariush has a lot to win here by solidifying himself that he is the dog. He is the guy that is deserving and has been deserving for a while. And normally I wouldn't say that's, because you're not advancing up anywhere. You're just solidifying yourself. But for a guy like Beneil Dariush, who's been getting the boot for better of 5 years, I feel like this is a win, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it in terms like this. This is almost the debate of, do you want to be Conor McGregor, or do you want to have or I guess that's not the best example. Do you want to be like a Sean O'Malley, all about the money, I kind of pick my fights, that style? Or do you want to be the guy that I fought everybody, I'm a legend, the fans adore me, not because I'm popular, but because of how I've impacted the sport? The legacy don't pay your bills. The legacy, you come back and you're like, yo, can you lend me $10, brother? I'm hurting. The dude with the money, the dude with all of the acclaim, the guy with the championship belts, that's a little bit of a different story. So I agree. Benny is fighting for that legendary status of being that dog. He said it too. He was all like, normally it's one more for a title shot. For me, it might be 2 just because I'm Beneil Dariush. You know, that's how they see me. But with that dog attitude, how do you like the approach of him fighting an Armen Tsarukyan? I don't think he's overlooking him. I think that he's taking him just as serious as he did Mateusz Gamrot and also Charles Oliveira. But he took Oliveira seriously and got knocked out in the first round. So we need to talk about how this matchup actually plays out. Let's first address that money line. Plus 230 underdog, Beneil Dariush. We just gave all that context. Title contender, 8-fight win streak prior to the knockout. Basically Tony Ferguson-esque, right? We're not anticipating a Tony Ferguson drop-off right here. We're probably anticipating a high-level dude who we can cash in on at plus money, correct?
Absolutely, Derek, and that plays into exactly what we were talking about. Beneil Dariush has been being looked over consistently over his career. He knows it. We know it. Now, fans, you know it as well, because, man, this guy, he does everything right, but just seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and ends up getting the shaft. But I think this plays into this a lot, especially with the hype Tsarukyan is coming in on. He's going to be confident. He's going to be feeling boisterous. And if Beneil Dariush has proven who he has been in the past and shows up like that, we're going to end up with an absolute dogfight scrap. This is going to be so much fun.
I'm really interested about the grappling exchanges, man. You're Tsarukyan. You want to take your opponent down. Do you want to take down Beneil Dariush given the scrambles? He is so talented, man. And this is not just the ride Dariush train. This is, look at his fight against Mateusz Gamrot. And then look at Gamrot's fight against Tsarukyan. If you're fighting a dude who is able to scramble, take you into deep waters 5 rounds, we know 2 things are for sure. Benny, 5 rounds, no problem. Tsarukyan, questionable cardio over 5 rounds. So the deeper this gets, you have to imagine the person who has been shooting takedowns, who hasn't been able to solidify and control, is going to be really tired. Who does this favor over the course of 5 rounds? Beneil Dariush, or do you think Tsarukyan, being the younger fighter, would be able to pull something out the tank?
I mean, off the top of my head, Derek, and Beneil Dariush, we've seen him proven, we've seen him stay in there, we've seen him be hurt and still have that change of mentality to be able to come back and win the fights in those long distance fights. And that's why my mind instantly goes to Dariush. But Tsarukyan, that question you're having about his gas tank, him and his whole camp know it as well. So I guarantee he's been working on it. He knows his shot is coming. I wouldn't be surprised to see him looking better in that 4th round, but I do still think it goes towards Dariush.
Yeah, man. And this is why it's tough, because I think the safe money, the safe pick, I do think it is Armen Tsarukyan, the safety net right there. But I think the money maker, I think the let's actually cash in, invest, and really make some money here on an opportunity where people aren't seeing the discrepancy, it's on Beneil Dariush all day. Time tested, extra battle tested. Like I said, jiu-jitsu advantage right there. But the most scary part is that if Tsarukyan can't take him down, I do not like Tsarukyan striking versus Dariush. I think Dariush has too much pop, and if he cracks him, Joaquin Silva hurt Armen Tsarukyan. What do you think Beneil Dariush is going to do to him?
Deadly, Derek. Maybe not deadly. Obviously, it's a little hyperbole, but absolute damage. That was a question I was going to ask to you, Derek. What does Tsarukyan do if Beneil Dariush is able to stop the takedowns, or even better and even more entertaining in my eyes, if Tsarukyan gets a takedown, but then he finds himself in a scramble? Beneil Dariush is working things, getting to those positions where Tsarukyan has never felt himself before. Man, that's what excites me in this fight. I don't think we're going to see a stand-up, because if it does end up standing up, I think Benny runs away with the fight. We could always see what happens. But in that scramble, in that weird part, how do you think Tsarukyan fares?
I think Tsarukyan fares very well, especially early on, man. I think early on you might see Benny struggle a little bit, and you might be like, oh my God, why didn't I pick Tsarukyan? But if this fight goes out the way that I think it is, I don't think it ends early per se. And if we start hitting round 3, round 4, round 5, what was the Gamrot fight? It was Tsarukyan leading the dance and Gamrot taking over. I think it's going to be a very similar nature right there. So again, I think of all the plays you can have, just hammer the money line on Beneil Dariush right here. I think that one's pretty simple. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to cash in on fight not to go the distance. That's listed, or priced, excuse me, at minus 160 right now. Do you like that price for not going the distance in this one?
I don't like that price, Derek. I mean, I could see why it's minus money. There's so many different ways in which both of these fighters can finish the fight, but with the way Beneil Dariush fights and the heart that Tsarukyan has and the pressure he has, I can see this fight almost being a stalemate, especially when fire meets fire and both people have that same kind of odds. Yeah, Beneil Dariush has ones he's better at. Tsarukyan has the pressure and can get it done early. I really like the decision. I mean, obviously, like Derek said, hammer that plus 230 all day long, but I think this might go the distance, Derek.
Yeah. I mean, it could. It totally could. Now, like I said, cardio is going to definitely come into play right here. Tsarukyan's probably been working really hard since that last loss. But I think that this is the proving grounds. AJ, this is the part that we don't like about this sport. It's that our favorites, the OGs, they fight the new breed, the new generation, and somebody got to go. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. This is survival of the fittest. And if there's somebody who's fit and who's ready to go, it's both of these guys, man. So tough play. Happy hunting to those who are going against the grain. But if you're going against the grain like us, you hit them with some money. So that's a Benny Dariush, and that is a Bloody Water Podcast consensus pick. Hammer plus 230 money line.